How's it going this afternoon, Shelby?
I just took a giant bite of sandwich.
Yeah, it's a good sandwich. So I'm going to talk for a while you eat it. But yeah, it feels good to be back in the studio. The weather is nice outside, and it's been a while since we've been on a regular recording schedule. We kind of just go as we can. Oh, it feels so good to be in here in the recording studio, in the seat, just talking about what's on our minds. What are you drinking over there?
Oh, White Label. I've been drinking it quite a lot.
What is White Label?
Doers.
Doers.
Yeah, with the handle on it.
For the man on the go.
Yeah. And actually I've been doing a lot of, people who like whiskey, scotch, whatever. If you're drinking scotch, I actually kind of like Louders, which is a lot lower on the shelf than the Doers.
Yeah.
But it's pretty good. And
Is it plastic with a handle?
it is plastic with like the dimples for the handle, like the, you know what I mean? Like a recess to hold on to, but it's not an actual handle. Yeah. But that's pretty good too. But if I'm just drinking it straight, which I am, I would go for the Doers.
Yeah.
Because I have a job.
Can't have that hangover until tomorrow night.
That's right. Yes.
Yes. Yeah, and I'm just drinking water because I need to stay hydrated.
Yeah.
That's a thing.
It is. It is a thing.
So what happens to our time? You had talked to me about just how and I know you rarely have open time. Like, you're always on the go. You're busy doing things. And occasionally you'll have some open time and it just seems to get filled. And that really kind of speaks to me because I feel like that's the story of my life, just with a large family. There really is no open time. Like, it just constantly is filled with things. Where does it go?
Yeah, it's not even filled by us a lot of the time.
Like, you actively try to keep time open at certain points, right? Like, it's not even you're like, oh, whatever's going to happen will just happen. You say, I'm not going to schedule anything here because you have projects that you're working on or other things that you're doing.
I'm not the one who schedules my time very well. I will last minute be like, hey, sometimes with you, hey, Whittakers, what are you guys up to tonight? You want to play some cards? Kind of last minute, a couple hours before. We don't usually schedule out very far, but I feel like I'm lucky in a way that Rita likes to schedule things with family. Because I'm not very good at that. I'd wait for them to reach out and say, hey, we want to come see her. Or why don't you come on over and see us? I would let them make the contact. But she's the one, she really does make the contact. She does a really good job of it. But I think I was complaining to Ridge a little bit ago about how, like, my weekend totally got stuffed full of things, events. Mm-hmm. We started out with nothing.
All good things, though.
All good things, yes. But also all things that I wasn't a part of. Sometimes maybe it's just ask if I wanted to do different things, Having the grandkids over. We had them over on Friday night. That was great. I love hanging out with the kids. But also I am excited that it's warming up now. It's not quite spring, but it's really getting there. It's a warm weekend, one of the first warm weekends we've had since last fall. Mm-hmm. And I was able to get some things done outside. Of course, I've still got the truck I'm working on. That's really what I wanted to work on, to be honest. Then on Saturday, one of the boys' birthdays, so they wanted to come over. That's fine. We did that on Saturday. And then today, Sunday, like, oh, this one's coming over, wants to do a brake job. I said, that's fine. The only thing is I wasn't asked or wasn't communicated with what was going on, so I ended up calling him. He said, oh, no, I want to do the front and the back on this vehicle and the back on this other vehicle. So now I'm thinking, like, that's like 3 axles of brake jobs. I thought it was just the one because the last time I talked to him, he said, oh, I think I need new front brakes on this Pilot. I said, okay, sounds good. But I'm like, wow, like that was a lot more than I thought it was going to be. Yeah, so it actually turned out that we didn't have to do them because we took the wheels off and then there's nothing wrong with your brakes. I don't know, for whatever reason. Then after a little bit of conversation, realized the car sits a lot, rusting the rotors.
Yeah.
And that's the reason why they were making noise when they're driving.
Yeah.
So, that kind of stuff, like it just fills up. The time gets filled up and not always by me because I'm not the one scheduling. But again, I like that Rita does that for me because if she didn't, I'd probably be a hermit. Mm-hmm. Or, is that right? Or a hobbit?
A hermit.
Hermit?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I would be like a shut-in.
Yeah.
It'd be me just last minute see if somebody wants to do something, and me being surprised that they don't.
Yeah.
when I had no schedule at all.
Yeah.
But how about you, Ridge? You said the kids. I mean, obviously the kids have a lot going on. A lot of that's probably scheduled because you have the kids in plays right now.
Sure.
But then, I mean, the sickness thing with 7 kids, it seems like quite often someone's sick.
Yeah.
Yeah. You had vomiting the other day from 2 youngest ones.
Yeah. Well, the question is, would you rather have everyone in your family get sick and vomit at the same time, all be sick and then be done with it? Or would you rather have it be stretched out? And I think at one point when we were a smaller family, we'd be like, oh yeah, at least if it's spaced out, we're not having to deal with all this sickness at one time. But now that we have more kids, it's like, yikes. You don't want everybody to get sick at one time, because if 7 people are thrown up, I don't even think we have that many buckets. But if you stretch it out, you end up with situations like what we've had in the past, where you really have somebody throwing up in the household for like 4 weeks straight.
Yeah.
Just different kids passing it around.
And maybe the first one to get recovered get sick from something else by the time of the last one.
We've had that where they'll start with an ear infection and end up with strep throat, and then somebody else is vomiting, and then they end up vomiting 2 weeks later. Yeah, with kids, the time, it goes away because so many things get scheduled. Because so many things with kids are not scheduled that far in advance, right? Like, they're not scheduling things out a month in advance with a lot of kids' activities. They're really getting scheduled on a weekly basis.
Right.
And so I know when we really started to get into the thick of recording the Barn Philosopher podcast, there for a while we were doing like every Sunday. That was just our thing. That's kind of what we did. Or during the summer, it was like every Thursday. You know, we were doing it in the barn. And we kind of had that schedule, and we stuck to that routine. And then as our kids got older and we had multiple kids in high school and multiple kids in extraneous activities outside of school, extracurricular things ended up just getting scheduled in those slots. Whether or not it was me having to do something, I was maybe still just needing to be present for the other kids, which is fine. I'm not lamenting being a father, but it ended up being a thing where, you know, I had to say to Joan, hey, we normally want a podcast on Sunday nights. Like, everything keeps getting scheduled during that time, or we want a podcast on a Thursday night. Everything keeps getting scheduled then. I literally had to start penciling in podcasting, like on our shared calendar. This is when we're doing podcasting. I have to let her know. Like, I have to schedule in times that it's like, if I want to go out or I want to go do something on my own, I have to put it in the calendar. Because if not, it just gets filled. And I wish there could be more hours in a day.
Yeah, definitely.
But, you know, that kind of goes along with the scheduling things, too. My wife is a beautician. She cuts hair. She cuts a lot of people's hair. She turns people away. Not because she doesn't want to cut their hair, but just because of the whole scheduling thing. If people want to come get haircuts after work, or they want to come get haircuts on weekends, which is usually when they want to do it, that's when all of our stuff is scheduled.
Yeah.
Versus if they can come at, 10 a.m. on a Wednesday, then she can do it or whatever. But I would have people that would contact me and say, hey, can your wife cut my hair? And I'd be like, I don't know. I'm not keeping her schedule.
I just wanted to ask you that because my hair is getting pretty long. Do you know if she's free this week?
She would cut your hair this week.
Can I schedule it through you?
Friends and family. Yes, I will message her right now. But I've continually had that problem where people say, hey, can you get me scheduled with your wife to get a haircut? And I'm like, listen, I can manage my schedule as long as it works with my family. I can help manage my family schedule, but I cannot control how somebody else uses their time.
Yeah.
Like, I can't do that, especially when I know she's busy doing other things.
Yeah.
And I know you do so much for other people. Have you ever found that to be the situation where people are trying to schedule your time for you?
Oh, yeah. I mean, same thing, spouse, you know. Sure. And I have stepkids, and I've fully accepted them, you know, as they're my kids, basically. You know, grandkids, I fully take those as my grandkids, and I'm there to help them like I would my own. But Rita does that where I don't know if they're afraid to ask me, because I guess I could be a little bit, I don't know, brash. What am I, Ridge?
You're not brash at all. I think people are afraid. They don't want to be a nuisance. They don't want to be annoying. Because I think people ask me because they don't want to be annoying because they know she's busy. They know my wife is so busy. They're like, I don't want to be annoying to her. So if it comes from the husband who already annoys his wife beyond all measure, she you know,
Yeah.
because they know it's a big favor.
Yeah, and it's one of those things where I like helping people, and it's fun and fine, and I like to be able to have them do the work and show them how to do it and let them, just guide them, I guess, so they know how to do it in the future. Hopefully, life will be easier for me. Next time they need their whatever breaks done, I'll just be there hanging out doing nothing while they're doing the work.
Yeah.
So just kind of, guide them along the way. But when she schedules the things, and I never said anything to her before, but I've thought of before, is you should have them ask me.
Yeah.
Because, and that's what you said you do with Joan. And Rita knows my schedule's, I'm going to be home. But also, you should still ask me so that I can have an understanding what's going to happen.
Yeah.
Because today, I mentioned it was 3 axles. I thought it was just front brakes on one vehicle. And then it ended up being 3. And,
So double the amount of brakes.
3 times what I thought it was.
And I've had that happen before, too, when I would have people say, hey, can you cut? In fact, this was a woman that said, hey, can your wife cut my husband's hair? She saw me. So she saw me and she thought to ask. And I said, yeah, she probably can. Like, I'll tell her. I even just texted her and say, hey, can you cut his hair? And it was like a game of telephone. And then when they come to get their hair cut, the husband came and then like 2 of the kids came to get haircuts. And she, she was like, well, I squeezed him in at this time.
Now
because
3
I could
times.
do one haircut, right? I cannot do all these haircuts at this time. So I just had learned from that point that it's dangerous for me to try to schedule somebody else's time for something that isn't family.
Well, I also think some of it is, and I've done this before, I'm like, maybe not with something that is literally 3 times as much, but you try to get a little bit more than you start with you than you ask for.
Sure.
You just kind of push it a little bit more. Like, I'm trying to get whatever it is, this item. Maybe I'll push it a little further. Maybe I'll try to get a little bit more than I start with. My foot's in the door. Now I'm going to try to get more. And I can kind of see that, but when it comes to, especially like friends and family, like you shouldn't be pushing them to do more than they agreed to.
Yeah.
Or you should be upfront about it, because nobody's trying to fool anybody or trick anybody, and you should be upfront about what you want, because it really upsets me when people aren't. We talked today, Ridge and I, we were trying to figure out when we were going to start recording, and we're back and forth, and then we're not getting clear times from family when they're going to be here, and then I didn't know what they wanted at first, and then it was just a little bit back and forth. It's like, please, just tell me exactly what it is, and then we can sort out how to fix it.
Yeah.
We can make this all work if I know all the facts. But if you're just giving me a little bit with some shadows, I don't know what's in those shadows, I'm not going to ever figure it all out.
I mean, I was kind of doing that with the podcast. I was like, 2 o'clock? 1 o'clock? Can we do it now?
Yeah, you changed a little bit earlier.
And you were like, just show up. And then I'm like, but I see your mom over there, and there's other people over there. Like, when do you want me to come? And then I just show up with Wendy's, and then you didn't even know I was here.
Yeah.
But see, but I felt guilty.
Me, Ridge. My hands were covered in grease.
Yeah.
But it was pretty much done at that time. So it all worked out. Timing-wise, it worked out good.
Yeah, but see, it's tricky with somebody who is busy and is doing stuff for other people to be like, hey, can we do this at this time, which I know is inconvenient. Like when you're trying to call, you feel like you're trying to call the shots for the time, but it's really like, I can do whenever. Like, I'm not the one that's having to change 6 brakes or whatever.
Yeah. Well, and they didn't have a clear time they were coming, and I told Rita, just send them a message, you need to be here at this time, so that we could get everything done we needed to get done. And it was good. They ended up showing up a little bit earlier, and it was fine. But I didn't have a clear time. It's like, please just give me a time.
Yeah.
Because I will be working up until that time, and if I come in because you say 3 o'clock, and I come inside at 2:30, and I get cleaned up, and I'm ready to go by 3, you don't show up till 4, I'm like, I just wasted an hour. Like, that is putting me out at that point.
Yeah.
You could say an hour worth of rest, but I would just lay down and fall asleep probably, because that's what I do. I can literally lay down, be out in 10 minutes. I don't know. It's fine.
Yeah.
I'm not a scheduled person. That's the other thing. It was funny. Is I think Rita gets a kick out of this because she hates it that I'm always late for things, whatever time things start. I guess I kind of judge whether or not it's important to be on time for whatever it is. If we're going to dinner, if we're meeting somebody, I want to be on time.
Sure.
I don't want to be late. But if family get-togethers, well, no, we didn't quite get out the time we wanted to, but there's going to be 20 other people there. If we're 10, 15 minutes late, it's not like we're meeting one person. They're going to be sitting in the restaurant by themselves. Everybody's still at dinner. They're all hanging out together.
Right.
If we're a little bit late, that's really not that much pressure to me. I don't need to show up at 2 o'clock. I don't want to be late, but also like it's not that much pressure.
Sure.
But it's me showing up to Ridge's house at 2 o'clock. I would be there at 2 o'clock because they're waiting. If we went out to dinner, like I'm going to be there on time.
Yeah.
Because it's a different situation.
Yeah, I feel like we go through this every week when we're like, we're going to play cards. And you're like, just let us know. And we're like, it'll probably be 8:30. And then for whatever reason, one of the girls will be like, nah, I'm going to cause a bunch of crap tonight.
Yeah.
And then it's like 9:15. We're like, okay, come on over. We're just 45 minutes late. But yeah, I just think this has been on my mind because I feel like lately my kids are involved in a musical production. It is every night of the week, basically, except for Wednesdays, which then have other things, or Fridays, which have other things, especially during the butchering season. That I'm like, every night of the week, there's something to the point that I'm like, I'm having to start to schedule in leisure time. Which I know for people listening, they're like, boo-hoo, that's called being an adult. I totally get it. I'm not lamenting it as much as that I'm like, you're just doing it and do that and do that and do that and do that for months on end. You reach a point, I just need a week where no one asks me for anything. You just need a total break from reality because that's not even realistic to say nobody bug me for a week.
Yeah.
Impossible.
Would you take a day?
Yeah. I'll get an afternoon.
Yeah. Yes.
Yeah.
It's like 4 hours and nobody asked me.
But I've had to start to schedule in things where if I am going to a prayer thing or I'm want a podcast, I have to literally put it on a calendar to be like, do not touch this time. This is a time which has not really been a thing that I've had in my life up to this point that I've needed to do that quite so much. But with kids getting older and stuff, I'm like, wow. I'm sure you went through something similar with just sporting events and
Oh, yeah. When my son was younger, Friday nights, Saturdays usually taken up with sporting events. And then once the kids grew up, we're self-inflicting with all of our events that we have to do now. But the kids getting a little older. But yeah, there was a time when I was in business and my son was young. I started business when he was, 1 year old, I think, 1 or 2, somewhere in there. Oh, no, it was like 6 months after he was born. The company I was working for was really having some issues, and they ended up going out of business. I picked up the business that I took with me from another company to that company, and they said, why don't you just start your own thing? And I was my late 20s. I said, yeah, you're right. Why don't I just do that? Because you need things done. You're a guaranteed customer because you've been with me through 2 other companies, start my own company, work with you. So I just did that, and then everything's so busy all the time with that. And I remember those days, when going to the toilet was the time that I got to myself. That was my free time.
yeah.
Oh, I understand people spend 20 minutes on the toilet in the evening. Like, that was a time when nobody would talk to me.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because all day long, I was talking to people literally all the time. Text messages and phone calls, whether business or personal related, it was just nonstop.
And I think that's why I like baths.
Yeah.
Because it's just
Cut
like
off.
nobody wants to be in a bathroom with an adult man taking a bath.
No, that's weird.
A bubble bath.
Well, there's enough bubbles, it'd be one thing. But no bubbles, clear water, I don't even want to see that myself.
Yeah. I just soak in there like a beef roast in a crock pot.
Yeah. But now we're almost the opposite, where we don't have those things we have to do all the time.
Yeah.
But somehow they get filled up. All of our time gets filled up.
Yeah. I just always thought to myself, maybe when I'm getting older, as I am older, there would be a point in my life where things wouldn't be filled up and I would just have nothing.